Let's get started. I would like to introduce Kaizen's own Jody Saultz.
Thanks, Chelsea. Thanks for joining today's Tech to Tech session, Kaizen. We're going to talk a little bit about how maintenance plays a role in your soldering process and maintaining your reflow and wave soldering systems. So why is maintenance cleaning important? Well, first of all, I think the biggest one is perception. If you have customers that's entering your facility at any given time, or you're looking to get new contracts and they're visiting and they see nasty, dirty piece of equipment, their perception probably isn't going to go over very well. And they're going to have some kind of concern about what is going to come off the end of their line if that's what they're looking at. Also, it's going to help improve machine performance. It's going to increase the uptime and the life of the equipment, and it's going to reduce potential contamination relocation. Maintenance cleaning is done in many different steps by many different people, whether it's maintaining filters, condensers, chains, and reflow ovens, or finger cleaners, fluxers, solder pots, and wave solder systems, or even inline or batch cleaners. All these need to be maintained. And then if you have offline tooling, stencils, pallets, fixtures, squeegees, nozzles, all of these affect the process in wave and reflow processes. One thing to note, these offline tooling cleanings, just make sure that when these are being cleaned, whether it's manually or in a machine, that you don't use an inline or batch machine that you're cleaning PCBs in, because it just creates more problems. So reflow, poor exhaust, probably due to flux contamination or flux that has been solidified on filters, on outgoing exhaust systems, conveyor chains with adjust shafts, and reflow ovens. They're more or less cold spots, so flux likes to basically solidify in those, which gives you width problems if you're changing width for different products. And then also blower speeds, whether it's in the convection side or the cooling fan side. These are going to get eventually loaded with flux solids and more than likely give you blower fail detects or blower errors. And then flux management systems. There's a lot of flux management systems out there that do a great job in the reflow ovens, but they also need to be maintained. So here's a few pictures of just things to look for. Conveyor chains in reflow ovens especially get really gummed up with flux. If these aren't maintained and cleaned periodically, they're going to jam up eventually, and these pivot points aren't going to be able to pivot like they should. And then filters, whether they're external or internal, you can see the difference between the picture. In the middle top, basically a flux filter or a flux-ridden filter on the left that has not been cleaned, had no maintenance on, and then one that has been cleaned. And then the far right, of course, is the radiator. The bottom side of that has been cleaned, and you can see the difference between the bottom and the top. And then also what's important is to make sure that you keep those vanes clean so you can get air movement through those vanes as well. And like I said, whether it's internal or external, these next two pictures are internal filters in a reflow oven. And then of course, this blower, if you can just imagine how efficient you think that thing is blowing air around inside your machine, it's totally clogged up. What happens generally is these plug up so much that they won't start up the next day. And a lot of times I've seen customers reach up there and twist those to get those to start, just so that the blower will start, because they have so much flux on them. But you know, at the end of the day, you're trying to fight this profile. It's hard enough trying to achieve a profile anyway on a clean machine and maintain it. But if you're trying to go through these 4 zones of profile and you have any of these issues due to maintenance, you're going to fight this, and you're going to be inconsistent on a daily basis trying to achieve the same profile. So a little bit about the wave solder side, pretty much same thing, or same issues. Exhaust, outgassing, conveyor chains, whether it's flux buildup on the shafts or the width shafts, and then blower speeds as well. I think the biggest one on wave solder is dedrossing solder pots. If you look at these top 2 pictures, the one on the left, of course, is a solder pot that is full of dross. And then the one on the right is where basically a PCB has went up through the conveyor and has dross has been basically drug across the bottom of the components, this is going to cause a direct short. A cleaner at the end of the process isn't going to take this dross off because it's just like a skiff wave solder that's stuck to these solder joints, and you're going to have direct problems and direct shorts with that. And then, of course, the convection side, um, these are going to get clogged up with flux as well. So here's just a quick picture on the top left of a good, nice, clean machine and a radiant panel. And then, of course, if you can just imagine what the inside of convection preheater looks like, if the outside of it looks like this, due to probably poor exhaust or no maintenance. And then the diffuser plate on the bottom side of the convection preheater, when they start getting clogged up, you're going to have hot and cold spots in it as well. So same as reflow, you're going to basically be fighting this wave solder profile. So make sure you do the maintenance on those, especially in that solder pot preheater type area. So, at the end of the day, I really think, do you want to fight this battle because have constant issues where you're chasing process issues? You're going to have some problem with circuit boards. This is a damaged circuit board. Kind of reminds me of the old Volkswagen. This is something you would probably walk by and scratch your head and go, what a mess. Or do you want to mess with something that's clean, nice to look at, and is being complimented by everybody that walks by? So really, what the price of doing maintenance is minimal compared to the price of doing nothing at all. It's not any different than changing or doing maintenance on your vehicle. If you choose not to do maintenance on your vehicle and change oil periodically, you're going to have issues probably before the life or the warranty of the machine is up. So I say at the end of the day, be this person, be the winner, take care of your machines, be the one that customers want to come in and demo machines at your facility and take their customers through, uh, and make sure they're kept up and kept clean. So just real quick, in conclusion, all these moving parts or any of these process areas that affect the wave solder or refill process, they're going to cause problems eventually if you don't do maintenance on them. It's not about if, it's going to be about when. And then, of course, flux residues, the buildup from flux residues, if they're not cleaned periodically, they're going to cause failures, whether it's on equipment or reliability issues with PCBs. You're eventually going to run into those issues. And like I said before, tooling, whether it's fixtures, pallets, or stencils, they need to be kept clean and clean those properly. Don't use inline or batch machines that you're cleaning PCBs with. And then most of these issues, they're caused, whether it's process or equipment related, they're caused from lack of maintenance. I think the most important thing is set maintenance schedules, weekly, monthly, and yearly. These are going to elongate the life of the equipment and keep the process issues to a minimum. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Chelsea for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. If you would like to discuss this topic further, please contact your local Kaizen representative or send an email to tech@kaizen.com, and we will have one of our cleaning experts schedule a follow-up with you as soon as possible. Again, we thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you again soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great day.